Mark Twain once said that there are three kinds of lies. There are damn lies, and there are statistics. Well, I'm not going to talk about statistics on this video, but I am going to talk about lies, especially hurtful lies that are told about you to others. Hi, my name is Carr Ferrell. I'm a Silicon Valley intellectual property attorney. Welcome back to my channel. Not long ago, there was the famous case of two Georgia state election workers who were falsely accused by presidential advisor Rudy Giuliani. The two workers were accused of stuffing the ballot box with false votes. As a result of these repeated false accusations, the two election workers were put in harm's way and repeatedly threatened. A jury listened to the case and awarded the election workers $148 million in actual and punitive damages. All of us face these false accusations in our lives. Most of these are just the stuff of high school. But what do you do if the accusations are truly hurtful and truly harmful? The area of law that covers lies that damage our reputation is referred to as the law of defamation. Defamation includes slander, which are lies that are spread verbally, and libel, which are lies that are spread through publication, through books or messages, letters, or newspapers. There are both state laws and federal laws covering defamation, largely depending on whether you're a business or a commercial entity. There's also this tension between the U.S. constitutional right of free speech and also your right as an individual to avoid having unwarranted damage done to your reputation. If I was to call you a fat fornicating scoundrel, apparently a popular accusation of the Middle Ages, and you in fact are a fat fornicating scoundrel, then my speech is protected. Under the Constitution, I have a right of free speech that protects my words. However, lies are not protected. And if I tell lies about you that harm your reputation, you can sue me in defamation for the damages that I've caused. To sue in defamation, you have to show four things. First of all, you have to show that there was a lie. And then you have to show that the lie was told or transmitted to a third party. You have to show that I was at fault for spreading the lie, and you also have to show that somehow you were damaged by the lie that I told. For example, I accuse you on my YouTube channel of being an arsonist because I believe you set the fire last week down at the town bowling alley. Now, I don't know 100% if this is true, but I heard it from some friends and I suspect it's true. Now, you've been damaged by my accusation because you get a call the next day from the bank and they've asked you to increase the fire insurance on your house by an extra $1,000. And also, the boss has cut your night shift hours because you think he's a little afraid of leaving you at the plant at night, afraid you're going to set the plant on fire. Now, you may be able to prove that the slander is a lie by having a good alibi. For example, you might have been inside the bowling alley at the time, bowling in the tournament. Or maybe you were playing poker at the time with some friends in an adjacent town. But whatever the reason, if you can prove that my accusation was a lie, then you can sue me for slander. You can sue for defamation. The flip side of that is that if I can show that you actually started that fire, maybe there was a photograph of you lighting the match, or a jury convicted you of the arson, then that truth is a complete defense to your lawsuit of slander against me. Now, there are four types of defamation that are so serious, that are so hurtful, that the law gives them a special name and a special status. This defamation we call defamation per se, or translating roughly from Latin to English, defamation by definition, defamation because it is. The first category of defamation per se accusations is that you've committed a crime or that you've engaged in immoral activity. The second category is that you've been accused of having some infectious, contagious, or loathsome disease. The third category is that you've engaged in some form of sexual misconduct or that you've lost your chastity. And the fourth category of defamation per se is an accusation that harms your business, trade, or profession. If the accusation falls into one of these four defamation per se categories, it's not necessary in a lawsuit to prove damages. Damages are presumed. The hurt and harm to your reputation is presumed. If I falsely accuse you of burning down the bowling alley, that arson is a crime, and it's not a question of whether I've committed slander. The only remaining question is how much I owe you. Interesting, the law treats individuals with much more care and compassion than it does our public figures and our politicians. Presumably, it's because we want to have public discourse, especially about those who are making our laws and providing our governance. The Constitution protects free speech, especially as it relates to political matters. Free speech relating to public discourse and criticism about our government is central to our constitutional framework. The difference between being a public figure and being an individual is that the individual only needs to show that the accuser was careless or negligent with respect to the truth. By contrast, when a public figure sues for defamation, they must show that there was actual malice, intent to create harm in the accusation or in the lie that was told. It's not enough just to show that the slander or libel was careless, but that it was made with intent to do harm. It was made with malice. This is a very high standard of proof, and thus it's really unusual for a public figure to sue for defamation. Next, let's talk about what happens when you are defamed. One of the reasons that defamation is so hurtful and so harmful is that we often judge ourselves by how others perceive us, by how others judge us. And when those perceptions are colored by false accusations, it really is a personal attack to our feelings about ourselves. It's natural to feel hurt and violated when others tell lies about us. Part of our reputation has been taken from us. There's some things to keep in mind, though, when you're falsely accused. The first one I think that's helpful is recognizing that there's a spotlight effect. This is a real thing, but it's our tendency to believe that more people are paying attention to us than really are. People go about their lives with their own problems. They've got their own stuff. Everybody's got something. And although the accusation for us may be the most important thing in our life, the most serious thing that's going on with us at the moment, everybody else has their most serious thing too. For the most part, others don't even notice or care that we've been badly hurt by a false accusation. Also, everybody has their own sense of reality, and people are naturally suspicious of accusations or news or gossip that's inconsistent with their own view of that reality. When others hear false accusations about you, they run these accusations through their own reality filters. And defamation that doesn't make sense, that isn't consistent with their reality, is quickly discredited and forgotten. And another thing to keep in mind when you feel like you've been defamed is that negative speech is increasingly common, especially on the internet and social media. We're almost numb now to negative speech. And for the most part, this type of negative speech and false accusations don't carry very much weight in the court of public opinion. The good news is that most defamation has a very short shelf life. And for the run-of-the-mill lies told about you, most lawyers would just advise you to turn the other cheek and let the defamation die of its own public insignificance. That said, however, if the defamation causes you real economic harm, or affects your family, or affects your ability to live in a community, especially if the defamation falls into one of the four per se categories that we discussed, you may want to consult a lawyer. That's really all I have to say about lies and damn lies today. If you have your own stories or comments, put them in the comments section below. Thanks so much for being here. If you like this video, I think you're going to like this next one as well. I'll see you over there.